Welcome to the Family Geekery Podcast, a podcast for geeks from a family of geeks. We talk about comic books, video games, and anything else geeky. I'm Chris.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Danny.
And today, to celebrate the belated April Fools, we're going to be talking about The FoolKiller, a comic from 1990 from Marvel Comics. A little dark. A little darker than what we usually read, but we'll get into that. But before we do that,
Geeky Weeks.
let's talk about our Geeky Weeks. Amber, what you got?
I watched a movie called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Ooh.
Whoa.
It was the cartoon from 2023, I think, on Netflix, made by Nickelodeon, I believe. And it was really silly. I liked it a lot. In a little bit of a TMNT mood right now because the Magic the Gathering set was TMNT. And we also played a collaborative version of that. I forget exactly what it's called, but it was like a new kind of bundle that they released for the TMNT Magic. And
Like Ninja Team Up or something like that?
yeah, so a fun little collaborative version, kind of similar to like two-headed giant, but you're fighting like a deck of cards, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I was glad that you joined.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
We won.
We did. And then I also watched season 3 of Exo Kitty came out, and I watched it all already. But it's kind of short. It's only like 30-minute episodes, so I feel like that's not as sad to say that I binge watched it in a week, but I did. And I also did a little bit of crafting. I decorated top loaders for a couple of my commander cards that I have. Basically, I put stickers on them and made them cute. So that was kind of fun.
Cool. Now, do
Nice.
you put them on what side of the top loaders do you put them on?
I put them on the outside. I'm going to see how durable that is, and if I need to go back with resin, I will. But I feel like leaving it unresined will make it function better. So I don't, like, in case I have to take the card out or reposition the card, it won't be like a crunchy top loader.
So you wouldn't play the card and the top loader. It'd have to be out of the top loader then.
Yeah, so it's like the commander, which for all of my decks, I would never want to put my commander back into my deck. But yeah, it just kind of stays in the command zone or on the battlefield or whatever.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
yeah. And in a normal deck, that would be like cheating. It's like, hey, you've got a marked card. You've got
Right.
one card in a top loader. So, yeah, then we also did some family game time. We played Linky.
Linky.
Little fun trivia type game.
Always fun.
Yeah. And that is about it for me.
All right, Danny, how about you?
Well, I participated in some Linky for family fun time. I don't do too well, but I have fun doing it, so. And then I am caught up on season 2 of The Pit.
Oh,
So-
nice.
Just waiting on the last 2 episodes.
Who's your favorite character?
I like Mel.
Okay. She's a good one.
And Dana. I like Dana and Emma.
Yeah.
They're a fun duo.
Imagine going through all that on your first day of work. Poor girl.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it to find out.
But yeah, I'm excited for the last 2 episodes. That's as geeky as my weeky got.
All right. Well, I went to the movies and saw a movie called They Will Kill You.
Oh,
Have you seen the previews for that?
not
No.
intentionally.
No.
I did not attend to it when I did.
Well, it's funny that it came out 1 week after that other movie that we saw. The
Oh,
Now they
Oh, Ready or Not.
Ready or Not. Yeah. Now you see me. Now you don't.
Yeah, that one.
Ready or Not. Here they come. Because the premise is very similar, and from all the previews that I saw leading up to it, the premise was very similar. You know, girl is in some hotel with a bunch of rich people who are trying to kill her, and basically that was, I guess, all they could show without ruining too much of the movie itself, because the movie was a lot more than that. And I think your mother signed on for the first part of the movie, and then once it took a hard right turn into a different type of movie, she was like, "What is this?" So that's all I'll say about that. I really enjoyed it. It was really good. I think Yazzie Beetz is the name of the actress who did an excellent job. She was Domino in the Deadpool 2 movie. But yeah, that was good. I played some family games with you guys also. And then besides that, been kind of checking out nothing geekier than staying in tune with the whole space mission going on. And got to see them lose signal today on the dark side of the moon. Netflix was actually broadcasting it. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't watch.
Yeah. And they made history today, flying farther away from Earth than any other humans have ever done.
Yeah.
And that seemed
Whoa.
weird to me because, you know, I've seen the movies. I've seen Apollo 13 and Apollo 11, and
One of those isn't real.
well, yeah, well, I've seen them anyways. Whichever one was real. I know that, you know, they went through the whole dark side of the moon, lost the signal thing, and that's always, you know, really exciting and scary at the same time. But this crew, they flew nearly 4,000 miles more. So out of the 250,000 mile journey from Earth, they went 4,000 miles further because they weren't in a near Earth orbit of the moon. They were in a farther Earth orbit. And
That's cool.
And the idea is that they're trying this out to see if, you know, how well this type of spaceship would do traveling further and further away from Earth. But it still seems a little weird that, okay, we made 248,000 miles. This time we're going to try to make 252,000 miles. After 50 years, they made it 4,000 miles more. But it's a different orbit.
A lot can change in 50 years. They got to make sure they still got it.
Yeah, plus
You know, it's been a while since they sent a person up there. They've only been sending robots.
plus they had to dodge the
And Katy Perry.
20,000 satellites that Elon Musk has launched in the last 50 years. Like that's got to be an incredible math
More
equation.
to calculate around.
Yeah. Like, how do we get something up into space without hitting all this other stuff that we already dumped into space? But it's fun. It's exciting. There's a lot of people excited about it. And I admittedly don't understand as much as we should, but
Have you been seeing, like, the Fantastic Four memes?
no.
Like, people comparing them to Fantastic Four because there's, like, 3 guys and 1 lady.
Oh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I think the one astronaut did quote a little bit of Spaceship Earth. He used the term Spaceship Earth, and he said something about how we are all travelers on a spaceship named Earth, which is
Oh.
one of the lines from Epcot's ride.
There's a nerd up there.
I hope so. Hope it wasn't unintentional. Yeah, that's about it for me. So let's get into the topic of this episode, which is FoolKiller number 1. FoolKiller is a character that's come and gone from the Marvel history. The first title that he had by himself was in 1990, and that's what we read, issue number 1. And it is it's the first issue of a 10-issue miniseries from 1990. And for some reason, Marvel Unlimited only has the first issue.
Oh,
So I don't know
interesting.
why they have the other 9 issues, but this is a comic that I have in my collection from the days of old. So
The 90s.
so I thought, yep. all the way back in the 90s.
Wow.
So I thought it would be a fun little play on words since we didn't do a per se April Fool's episode. At least we have the word fool in there, and a guy who is trying to rid the planet of fools. So how fitting is that? He would have his hands
Very.
full today, wouldn't he?
A week ago.
So, have either of you ever heard of FoolKiller before? Ever seen him?
No.
Heard of him? No.
Nope.
He's been in, like I said, a couple other titles through the 2000s. But yeah, not a super prominent, I guess, character. I wouldn't say superhero or hero. This is definitely from the 90s in the days that characters like the Punisher were extremely popular. So we are looking at a vigilante type character. And this is telling the story of how a person who's down on his luck, having the absolute worst time in life, is influenced by a former fool killer, because there's been several, I guess, over the history of comics, and it looks like he's going to take up the mantle. So, did you guys at least get that much of it?
No.
Okay.
I thought it was the same guy.
Yeah, and that's interesting because
Wait, what do you mean? Like the guy later in the story is the fool killer? No.
you didn't get that.
Is he? I couldn't tell if these were two different guys or the same guy.
Yeah, and
Until they had different names.
I really hope that was intentional because I had the same like dilemma. Like, wait, I know they're calling one of them Greg, and they're calling the other one Kurt, but they sure do look a lot alike.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that was intentional.
I just thought maybe he bleached his hair when he went to the psychiatric ward.
Yeah, and it's an interesting setup where there's multiple settings, right? The story is happening in multiple places. You got a guy in prison or an insane asylum in Indiana, and you've got another guy that's down on his luck. He's the one that's Kurt is losing his job, losing his wife, losing his dad, all at the same time.
Yeah.
In New York, and at some points they have a depiction of time elapse, and sometimes they don't, and it kind of looks like they're melding together. The timelines are melding together, and the whole time, like you've both noticed, they both look very similar. And like I said, I hope that's intentional, not just a lazy artist. But yeah, you start to think, is this guy going to turn into this guy? Is this timeline going to mesh with this guy? And what we know as Kurt is going to become Greg? But that's not the case. So, confusing?
A little.
Yes.
A little, yeah.
But what sold it for me was that they're two different people. Well, I mean, at the end, Kurt is watching a television show that is written by Greg. But also Greg grows a beard. So it's like, okay, time is passing for him as well. So these are different people.
Right, yeah. Yeah, but it takes until like the last
the
two pages,
last page.
yeah, for that to become true. And if that was intentional, and I'm sure it was, I think it's pretty brilliant. Overall, this title was extremely well received, and still well regarded in the history of comics, even though it's someone no one's ever heard of, probably because
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't monopolized on that.
yeah, you're not going to see this guy show up in Doomsday helping out the Avengers fight
Damn.
Doctor Doom or something. Especially after I explain the full arc of the character.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
But
Do tell.
yeah, we've got a guy down on his luck. First we see first we see Greg, right?
Yeah.
Greg Salinger,
Greg.
who is incarcerated. He's having just an absolutely crazy dream at the beginning. And the whole time I was reading that, I was like, yeah, this has got to be a dream because it's a little crazy and it's all introspective.
Yeah.
And but it kind of sets the tone of what the persona of the FoolKiller is, where for whatever reason, and I don't understand, but he uses the term poem for people who are worthy of living, if their life is a poem, and then people who are not worthy of continuing to live are the fools, who are just...
It's giving Joker a little bit.
A little bit.
I'm sure that's a little bit intentional.
Could be. Despite the fact that he's got like a Three Amigos hat.
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots look, or not the Three Amigos. What's the other? Those Trace, no. What's the French one?
Three Musketeers?
Three Musketeers. Yeah, he's got a Three Musketeers look about him. But he's going through a crazy dream sequence, which he wakes up into another dream sequence. And then we finally see him talking to his, I guess, psychiatrist. Or somebody, therapist.
Yeah.
In what looks like a prison, but we find out is an insane asylum. And he's working through these dreams. But then that's when we meet the protagonist of the story, Kurt Gerhardt, at his father's funeral, and we find out that his father was killed very, very tragically and very pointlessly.
Mugged for $6.
Mugged for $6.
But then they didn't even keep the money. They threw it on him after they beat him to death.
Threw it back on him.
Yep. So that...
For entertainment.
That event and the fact that he doesn't... I guess he blames his father just as much as he blames the muggers, right? Because he had pled with his father to leave this neighborhood because it was getting bad, and he didn't. So his father was a fool, and then these bad guys, obviously, they're to blame as well. But this is what starts to give him this kind of viewpoint on, like, what the society is doing, and we see him understanding that the society is decaying all around him. And
that's New York, baby.
And that's before Disney came into New York City and cleaned it all up.
Yeah, where's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
He's not around right near. But he's at the funeral for his father. He's going through some flashbacks of the ways that he tried to save him, but he wouldn't listen. And he's kind of struggling at work, which doesn't help the fact that I guess he's working for some corrupt people who are so corrupt that they're bankrupting their own company and they have to start firing people, so he loses his job. Slipping deeper and deeper into this frenzy that he's going into, and it obviously affects his personal life, his, I guess, girlfriend. I don't think they listed her as a wife.
Yeah, they never made a label.
Oh yeah, they don't use labels. But
Situationship.
Well, they might be
situationship.
They might be married because they're talking about like splitting the things up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe they're going through a divorce. And she called a lawyer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do use the word husband here. Okay.
Oh.
So yeah, it ruins his marriage, but on the good side, he does decide to keep the computer. That's all he wants. Just let me have the computer, and you can have
And his
everything
clothes.
else. Yeah.
But there's not much left because since he's not working, they had to sell all their books and furniture pretty much.
Yep. Yeah. It's funny that the first thing they sold was books.
Yeah.
That's such a foreign concept that would be worth something today, where we don't own books. We just have everything on an iPad or whatever.
Speak for yourself, man.
You got some books?
I got lots of books.
All right. Well, if we go through some hard times, I'm coming to your house and stealing your books.
No.
So we've got him going through the worst part of his life, we flash back to Indiana, where now we've got Greg trying to reach out to whoever will listen to him, because he's got some ideas. He's got a premise, and he wants the world to know it. And apparently, he can't get published in any of the big publications, the Washington Post, the New York Times, or the Daily Bugle. He didn't.
Did it say Daily Bugle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, cool.
He didn't try the Daily Planet. They might have published this for him. So he decides instead to reach out to talk shows and TV productions as opposed to the written word.
Wow, how crazy that he's going to the TV instead of, nobody's gonna watch that TV stuff in 10 years.
Right. But I thought the little half-page introduction to what they call merge printing, which I grew up knowing as print merging, but it's the same premise. That was fascinating to me. That it was about this time I was learning how to do that in a college class, and that is taking, like, if you had a Christmas list or something, and you wanted to send a Christmas card out, and you didn't want to change the name on the top every single time, or the address or whatever, that you would have a database of names, and then you would have a document with placeholders in it, and you would merge the two, and it would print out, all the copies using the names.
Oh.
So I don't know.
That is kind of cool.
I don't know why. I guess that's just showing that he's sending this out to a lot of people, or he takes the idea of this secretary, I guess, in this prison, that she can print merge, and he says, well, okay, well, maybe I can learn how to do that. He's learning skills in his incarceration.
And his therapist is just like, whatever you want to do, you're just making progress. Good.
Yep. But
and you know what? I feel that every single day.
and this is a tiny little, like I said, a tiny little couple panels talking about how, oh yeah, we can teach him some of this computer stuff. Well, we don't see that in issue number 1, but that ends up to be the link between these two people. Turns out to be the computer, but we'll get to that.
Did you read the text on the thing?
Yes.
Oh, will you summarize it for me? Because I did not.
He's crazy, and he wants the world to understand his ways.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, what is he writing about?
Is it like a script? Has he got a story, or he just wants to tell his side of whatever happened, or?
He's got a they call it a communique, but it's not propaganda. What's the word I'm looking for? Not an agenda. No, I just said that. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Manifesto.
Oh,
Is that a good word?
Sure.
Probably.
Yeah, he's got a manifesto where he's basically this is him explaining that there are people in this world that don't do anything good for it, so we just need to get rid of them.
Okay.
So he's doing this, which catches the attention of a TV producer guy who's got his own talk show.
Mr. Moody.
Yeah, Mr. Moody. Who you can just tell by the look on his face and his mustache that
He's not a good dude.
yeah, this is not the stand-up type of Walter Cronkite bringing you the news that you want. This
isn't Conan O'Brien.
This is like a Jerry Springer type, just whatever will shock the audience. And he's like, I want to get this guy on my show. And he tries to talk the prison into it, and they're like, no, bringing all those cameras into this insane asylum is not going to be a good idea. So they're like, okay, let's do it outside. Or something. I don't know. Yeah, but I guess he bribes the warden or whatever, the chief of staff, to make it happen. Meanwhile, we got Kurt trying to make his way through life, getting a job at the Burger Clown.
Yeah.
Entry-level position, working for people half his age.
Who don't look half his age. But that's okay.
Yeah, they need to put more acne on him or something. Because nothing says young burger
Like
employee
wrinkles.
like... But on his first day on the job, he's doing a great job, taking a little break, and then people come in to mug the place, and this triggers his memories of his father getting senselessly mugged, and he acts upon this, screaming $6 over and over and over again as he's attacking the muggers or the robbers, but not being successful in what he's doing. I don't know if he chased him off, but he got his butt kicked in the meantime.
Yeah.
Wound him up in the hospital. And
but he's so lucky to have a nice young burger lady employee to take care of him.
yeah, I don't think that develops into anything. He gets a different girlfriend down the road, but
Oh, okay. Probably for the best that he's not dating a girl half his age.
yeah, I mean, but again, it was the 90s. But he that's what kind of triggers him into thinking that that there's something wrong with the world. He doesn't quite know what it is yet, but it doesn't take him long, because then he watches the Moody show, the Runyon Moody show, and as they're
That's where it ends.
as they're broadcasting this, they say, "Are liberals and criminals destroying our way of life?" Runyon Moody asks the FoolKiller. So this is where we find out that this guy that's been in jail this whole time, Greg Salinger, is the FoolKiller, and I think, as it turns out, he's actually the second FoolKiller out of all of them. But this is what triggers Kurt to say, "Oh, I think
That's interesting.
he and I think a lot alike," and that's where it ends. So this is definitely one of those lead up to a cliffhanger. Tells you a little bit, but doesn't tell you the whole story. But hopefully gets you enticed enough to see what's going to happen. Like, we've got this fancy costumed guy on the cover of this magazine, or the cover of this comic, that we don't even get to see yet. We don't get to see a superhero or anything. We see him in a dream sequence, I guess, but that's not even the FoolKiller that we're here to read about. But from what we just read, before I get into where that leads to, from what we just read, what did you guys think? Did you enjoy it?
Once I kind of figured it out, it has a cool concept. But the entire book, I was like, are these the same guys? Are they different guys? But when it solidifies, and then when you kind of like think back on the story, it's like, okay, that's where it's going. And that's cool.
Yeah. What about you,
Yeah.
Danny?
It makes a lot more sense now, but the first time I read it, I was definitely confused. But I like the story.
Yeah, it's not your typical, it's not even, I guess it is fairly close to Punisher, right? Punisher loses his family, and that triggers him to try to make a difference in the world through ways that aren't exactly legal or moral, maybe. But it doesn't matter, because it makes perfect sense to him, and he's got a code to live by. And this is very similar, whether it's a code or just a theology on who deserves to live and who doesn't. And that's what hooked this guy in. Now, leading from this, like I said, he and this kind of shocked me, just because timeline-wise, I know what the technology was, but he hooks up with him on not hooks up, but he connects
Plot twist.
with Greg through a early online bulletin board system. Now, this is pre-internet. I mean, internet existed, but it was only used for military and educational uses. But this bulletin board system, we've talked about that on this podcast before. That was the dial-up onto somebody's computer and leave a message and then hang up. And then other people would dial into that computer and read those messages and reply to them and then hang up. That's this kind of interaction that they had. So through some bulletin board system, which I can only imagine, Greg's access to that computer allowed him to have, which nowadays we kind of monitor, or somebody monitors at least
Inmates.
some kind of communications. Yeah. Back then, maybe not, but that's how they connect. And so Kurt eventually finds out where the FoolKiller's gear was. I guess he told him it was stored in a storage locker. So he gets his
Oh.
costume and he gets his weapon, which is the purification gun. Now we saw him with the purification gun in the dream sequence, but we didn't really know what it did, because it didn't do in his dream what he thought it would do. Because in real life, it just disintegrates people.
Oh.
Right.
So it just, and that's a metaphor, because it just erases that person, from the earth. No,
That's an easy way to get rid of a body.
no bones, no body, no trace. It just erases that person. Hey, they don't deserve to be. And that's not me saying that's not the views of Family Geekery. That's
That's the views of the FoolKiller.
Purify
of
the
FoolKiller.
world.
If they don't deserve to be on this earth, then we'll just remove them from this earth with this purification gun. From there, he goes and happens to make his first kill, which isn't a supervillain. It's just a random obnoxious person in a park.
Oh, fun.
Oh.
So that's when it doesn't take long. That's within the first 3 issues. Doesn't take long to find out that Kurt isn't a hero. He isn't even a moral vigilante like a Punisher. He's just a madman with a god complex.
He's just annoyed
He's just
easily.
angry,
From there,
a little sensitive.
he's living a dual life, where he's still working at the sandwich shop,
Burger
moonlighting. Moonlighting as a killer.
Burgerland.
Burger Clown.
But he's not making money. It's hard to make a
Right.
living working at a burger
Disintegrating
joint
people.
and disintegrating. So he starts to target white collar fools to at least make some money out of this. He becomes a folk hero, much like modern social media. The public becomes obsessed with him and becomes a folk hero to some. And but then we start to have our turning point, where he's got this, he thinks he's living by this list of morals, and he thinks what he's doing is right, but he realizes that some of that is changing based on his needs and based on his environment. And it turns out that in the end he finds out that he has become the fool.
Wait, does he blast himself?
He's become the monster that he used to, think was the problem. He's no longer acting out of a poetic ideal. He's just a serial killer caught in a cycle of violence. So I think that's the arc in this book that kind of made it so popular. It's kind of a neat, not neat for him, but kind of a neat arc. But no, to answer your question, he did not purify himself. He doesn't die in a blaze of glory. His final confrontation is just him scarring his own face with acid,
Oh.
so that it would hide his identity forever.
That's a little extra.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he from that he just vanishes into anonymity,
CNN.
An enemy.
leaving
Nice of you.
behind the mantle, but remaining a broken, haunted man.
Aw.
Suggesting that folly is an incurable part of the human condition, and Kurt's crusade was ultimately meaningless. So his
Wow.
all of his acts, he realizes, are meaningless, just like the
Oof.
single act that kind of set him down this path of the
Yeah.
$6 mugging. So that is a great arc.
That is a kind of really cool arc.
So this,
So the next time FoolKiller comes around, is it a different guy?
yeah, I think much like other characters in the comics, someone kind of takes up the helm from somebody else, and like a copycat killer almost.
Yeah.
All right, so this is where Family Geekery petitions Marvel to bring the FoolKiller
To
maybe
Marvel rivals.
to Disney Plus as a miniseries. You think they could do that?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be too much worse than like the Punisher and Daredevil and those kind of books.
Yeah.
Yeah, make a TV show.
Yeah, it'd be good. But yeah, I don't know why the other 9 issues aren't in Marvel Unlimited, but maybe it has something to do with the subject matter. You know, the real significance of this book has been seen throughout the years because of some of the things that it kind of predicted almost like very accurately, and that is using technology to radicalize individuals. You know, having even in pre-internet times, using the computer to kind of connect people with like minds, whether that's good or bad, and we've seen in modern times how that works. And the other thing is how, you know, the inclusion of this this media guy is kind of showing how the 24-hour news cycle turns killers into celebrities, if you will. You know, kind of puts them into
Anyone's invited to Ellen DeGeneres.
into the spotlight. Yeah. I don't know what that means.
You know, singing children, fool killers.
But yeah, overall, I think it's good. I'll have to try to track down, see how many of the issues that I bought. I don't know if I bought the full run, but I'll find them somewhere. I'd like to finish out this series.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. Let us know if you've read The FoolKiller, or if you are the FoolKiller. Listening to this podcast with your acid-washed face.
Mama didn't raise no fool. That's
right.
from something, right?
It's probably from something. I think it's from you.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, send us an email, podcast@familygeeker.com, or hit us up on our socials. Let us know if FoolKiller is one of your favorite characters, and why you want them in Marvel Rivals.
But not until Dazzler. Dazzler first, then FoolKiller.
And they'd have a good mashup, I think.
Yeah.
The purifier gun or whatever it's called, and a microphone, a bedazzled microphone.
Oh yeah.
Marvel team up.
Give them some entertainment before they are obliterated.
That's right. But that's going to do it for this episode. We thank you as always for listening. Go ahead and check out the YouTube channel, see what's going on out there. But until next time,
Peace
out.
And
geek
out.
Thank you for listening to the Family Geekery podcast. For more information, visit www.familygeekery.com. Don't forget to subscribe at your favorite podcast provider. And until next time, peace out and geek out.